Hello and welcome to Lugano. In this video I will explain some of the features of Lugano. I will use Lugano to complete a business model expansion case. I will show how to add a scenario, run the scenario, check for any unexpected results, explain these results, and throw together a quick reporting deck. Now let's open the Excel model. Alright, here we have the business model. It is a discounted cash flow model. It fits on one worksheet, and at the top we have a header showing the NPV value. At the moment the differential is nil as this is our starting value. Now let's start Lugano. Click the Lugano tab. Click the Scenario button. The scenario form is now open. We click on the Version tab to start capturing the versions. A scenario is a collection of versions, so we will capture 3 versions and add them to the scenario. For this example, we will update the installed capacity, capital expenditure and variable costs. Lugano captures data in the named range. If the range name already exists, it will use the existing one, otherwise it will create one on the fly, when the version is saved. Click column K in expansion capex, and enter 50 million for the expansion costs. Select the range name. There are 3 names listed. The name in black exists, the names in red do not exist but could be created. Click the existing name, expansion capital. We have a counter setup, a postfix label, and the suggested version name. We can add a description here. The selected version is highlighted, which gives us confirmation that it's the correct one, and we have a description of our selection here. We are now ready to go. Click Scenario to capture and save the new version. Now let's add the 2 remaining versions, that is the new production capacity and updated variable costs. Go to the header and look at the NPV. As expected, it has increased by 105 million. We are now ready to build our scenario. Go to the form and click the Scenario tab. The versions are listed in the leftmost column. You will recognize the versions I just created. Let's create a scenario. To create a new scenario, select the versions and drag them over here. Rename the scenario as Case 2. The model is currently loaded with data for Case 2, so before we test Case 2, let's set it back to the previous Case 1. Select Case 1. Click Run to run Case 1. You can see we have the original Case 1 values before the expansion. Go to the header, the NPV difference is back to nil. Now run Case 2. Select Run. The header NPV differential is back to 105 million, and the model data is now for Case 2. We can run the different scenarios, Case 1 or Case 2, but to add value and visibility, we need some reporting. To start, insert a log report. This will show us every step change we've made. Right-click to open the context menu. And select the Log All command. Let's add a date series, so we can see the dates with our data. Select Date and drag-drop to the report. In addition to logging the input changes, let's also add some of the model output results after each step change. I will add the financial statements range which I have pre-prepared. Let's go to this range. This is the range which will be included. Add the range to the report, select and drag-drop. Before we run the reports, we need to set the model to its start values. I will insert a call to Case 1 as a subroutine. Select Case 2. Right-click for the context menu. Select Call Scenario. Click Case 1. In addition to the log, I also want to add some charts. Select Log All, right-click for the context menu. Click Chart On. This will create a chart for each step. Add a date for the axis. Select Date, and drag-drop to the report. Now I can add the output series I wish to include in the report. Select Net Cash Flow and drag-drop to the report. Select sales price and drag drop. And net income. And assess tax losses used, which I will need later. I will set the sales price series to the secondary axis. Select sales price, right-click, click secondary axis. And use columns for tax losses. Right-click tax losses, click column. Now run case 2 with the reports. Clear the progress icons, click run. Note the tick mark icons after each successful step. The scenario is completed. Let's look at our results. Go to the ribbon and click on the Workbooks button. All the open workbooks are listed. Click to activate the log report. The first sheet lists all the steps executed to complete the scenario. Select the expansion capital. The log shows the initial values and the final values. We can see the addition of the 50 million in capital costs. Select the production capacity. Here is the additional 60 kiloton. And lastly, select the variable costs. We see the reduction of $10 per ton in 2023 and $20 in 2024. This report confirms the changes made by Case 2. Now let's view the charts. Select the Workbooks button. Click the chart report. This is the chart after all the changes. The net cash flow is in blue. We note the historical dip in 2020, which is consistent with the lower selling prices in red. Looking ahead at the cash flow, we have a surprising decline in 2024. Despite an increase in capacity and sales volume, we notice a decline in cash flow. This needs investigation. Interestingly, the income statement in green appears to perform as expected. This suggests an issue between the cash flow and the accounting statements. Let's review the charts from the earlier changes and find the origin of this issue. Go to the new production capacity sheet. We see the same issue here. Select the expansion capital sheet. Here the net cash flow performance is a steady increase as expected. So, it appears that the new production capacity step caused this issue. Let's look at the movement. Above this chart we have a differential chart, which shows the movement between the expansion capital and the new production capacity step. We notice a large reduction in the tax losses or deferred tax asset. This is a balance sheet item. The losses have been used in prior years. Conceptually, this makes sense. The increased sales have increased taxes and ultimately the tax shield was exhausted sooner, resulting in a lower net cash flow. If this is correct, I would expect increased tax payments in the cash flow in the year 2024. I can check this by inspecting the financial statements which we logged. Let's go back to the log report. I am looking for a large change in the tax payment in the cash flow. Let's focus on the movement section. Here is the tax paid. And there is a large increase in tax outflows in 2024 as expected. The tax paid is about $9.5 million going forward, and in the early years after the expansion it is virtually zero as the tax loss is used up. Once the tax shield is used up, the company pays the additional $9 million from the expansion, plus the pre-expansion tax of about $23 million, which was shielded by the tax losses. This confirms that the drop in net cash flow in 2024 is correct. I will now export the reports and create a PowerPoint deck of slides. I will start with the log report. Go to the ribbon and click all print areas. I will now add the charts. Open the chart report and click all charts. And lastly, export the data behind the charts. Click all print areas. The slide deck is now completed. Let's have a quick look. Start the presentation. The deck includes the title page, summary slide of every step, a log of all the changes, expansion capital, capacity increase, variable costs adjustments, Financial results captured for each step change. Output charts, after expansion capital. The movement. After new production capacity. The movement. After variable costs updates. And finally, the data behind the charts. A nice addition now would be a waterfall chart of the project NPV, but that is another video. Thank you for watching.
Try Lugano for 30 days and see what's possible.